All right. Welcome, folks. Today we're diving into graphite. I found this really interesting. They are kind of a wrapper on top of GitHub. And the whole idea is kind of laid out in this blog, which is how I think I found them first. And it's how do you stack PRs to unblock your entire team? Now, this is not necessarily a new concept, and there's reasons people don't do this or it's difficult to do this. But what I find interesting here is they kind of build some tooling on top of GitHub to allow this to be more possible. And the end result here is basically you get lots of small PRs that are built on top of each other rather than giant mega PRs. And I think that's a worthwhile goal. So let's look at what this seems like here. This is a very old project that I made. We're going to see later if it can fix it. But this is my first setup. My main branch is the trunk. Uh, it's going to try to create a PR here, uh, I suppose. And let's see. Okay, so this is, I think, a TypeScript package. I think it's very old. So apparently we're building activity feed on top of this, which I don't really care. So apparently I'm going to create a new file. I have to show that I made a new file. Yep, we got a demo. That's awesome. Uh, we're going to add it, apparently. And then I think this is where we're going to see the difference. So everything up until now has been the same. That's cool. Um, this is the old workflow. Yep, this is well done. So we're gonna, in the past, I would have checked out a branch and committed my changes. It looks like here we're gonna, it's like similar to the GitHub API. This is what I like about it, kind of bolting on to what GitHub's doing. I think it brings AI in some interesting ways. Okay, so apparently did a branch. That's cool. Uh, let's see what this does. Okay, don't really understand what it is, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going. Apparently, it will push our branch and create a pull request. So a lot of what you could do here, you can do with aliases. But I think what's interesting, which we'll get into in a second, is kind of integrating. I think that's where it get really interesting. So here, I can add a description of my changes. I can do some labels. I can go ahead and publish this. Which one is nice. So there's just some subtleties built in here that I think are really smart when it comes to kind of building AI end to end that I'm kind of surprised GitHub hasn't done. And I think the reason I started with the stack PRs is that is the basis of everything. One of the real challenges with AI tools is verifiability. And by creating this pattern, this muscle of small stacked PRs, I think we could really get somewhere. And I think ideally this is where I'd want an agent, kind of how I'd want an agent to do things, just as it's how I'd want a junior developer to do this. So um, I'm going to stop there for that. And I want to try seeing what they just do, because I think this is really interesting is if you have this framework, if you have this idea of stack PRs, I would hope that then their agents do the same thing and can really get going. Apparently I can enable code indexing. Yeah, that works. What I want to see it do is get this repo working again. The repo is supposed to just show some HTML that can show you two options, and then you pick iteratively until you've chosen the one you want the most. I have not touched it in a long time. This is one of those use cases for AI that I'm really excited about, where it would be a pain for me to go through and upgrade everything in this repository. But if AI can do it for free very quickly, like that's something I'm really excited about. Um, I have no idea how long it will take. I'm realizing I should have probably prepped this and kicked this off before. It looks like it understands the code base. Good stuff. This thing runs. Um, there's a bunch of like team specific things you can get into. I love that they have little shortcuts here. Uh, what surprises me so far is one that Microsoft has done this bought by Cursor, and I think that's a really surprising move for Microsoft to let happen. I feel like they've been betting pretty hard on Copilot, and Copilot from my experience, has fallen behind both Claude Code and Cursor. Um, and I'm surprised that OpenAI didn't try to step in there more. Their coding tools are good, but the UI and UX is not as good as this. This feels like someone who was a developer made it and understood how to get things working. Um, let's see. I would love to see what it's doing. Okay, so is very interesting. Okay. Oh, this is basically they used to have this for restaurants. It looks like this is Graphite, basically an interesting rethink of PRs that I think translates really well to supporting AI agents. So I'm excited to see what Cursor does with them. Hopefully, they integrate it well.